board.
No, thank you. We actually had one of our longtime folks here retire today, so I had to say goodbye for a minute. So we're all set. Recognize the quorum. We are having a special voting meeting today just for one item, and it is to approve contracts for phase 2 of our ongoing construction projects. And we've talked about it a bit, but for the record, Amanda, just tell us why we're voting today instead of.
Right. Thank you, everyone, for having this meeting to expedite the process for phase 2. As we've been updating folks at Facilities Committee and then also shared at the board meeting a couple months ago when we did an overview of the capital project, we have really been sort of beholden to the timeline at State Ed Department, and State Education Department has to do a very thorough review. There's a number of elements that they look for architecturally, structurally, right, engineering, and that really delayed our bidding for the phase 2 project. Rob was at the bid opening that was not just a Friday ago, and so we're asking to expedite the review of those bids, which Campus Construction did with all of the folks that asked to be part of this project, put their bids forward for all the different elements. The reason for this meeting specifically is that especially at South Hill Elementary School, we start demolition at the site in mid-April, which tomorrow is April, so that means just a few weeks. There are aspects of capital projects that require submittal processes to occur, and so we want to make sure we have enough time between the contracts being accepted, the bids being awarded, and then that submission process. And then also just in general, any days that we can get for the material delay issues that we are dealing with across the board, the sooner the better. So really those are the major elements as to why this meeting is happening. And I really, again, cannot thank you all enough on behalf of the team, Tetra Tech, Campus Construction. They did a great job expediting the meetings with all of the bidders to ensure that what they brought forward to you with their recommendation is solid, and that they really were able to sort of work on the scope items to ensure that those bids were accurate.
Thanks, Amanda. And the bids did come in under the allocated budget, so that's a good thing considering the environment that we are in. So certainly it would be great to go ahead and approve this today and keep the ball rolling. And so Sean, go ahead. And
Amanda, just to make sure that we catch this on our recorded meeting as well, I want to make sure that our community knows that the lowest bidder is, as long as they meet the specifications, receives the bid award. And so there is not really much for the district to do other than to ensure that the bid meets the minimum specifications that we have outlined. Could you just speak to that briefly so everyone is very clear about what happens when we get a construction bid?
Absolutely. And so first of all, everything is public, right? So we announce these through many, many venues to contractors. There's all different types of contractors, right? There's a general contractor that oversees the work in general. There's site contractors, there's HVAC electric contractors, there's plumbing contractors, right? So all different, those are sort of like the key elements that we go out to bid for. The bid documents are public. There are many, many pages. They include all the scope details and the plans and the estimated schedule. The bid opening is public. We held that, as I said, this past Friday in York Hall. People have to submit those bids by a certain time. They're actually time stamped, right? They are opened in public. They are read in public. All of the required elements of those bids are also addressed in public to ensure that those pieces are there. And you are right, New York State bidding law requires us that we go with the lowest bidder upon a review, a meeting to review, right? You get, I think it was 3 days, they said, Rob, right? I think Cindy went over the process when we were together, that any one of the parties, right, or actually that the bidder could withdraw their bid if they wanted to upon 3 days afterward. But all the bidders that were there and that submitted after they were at their meeting, they are keeping their bids into the process. And so what you're seeing there are the lowest bidders. There are also there may be one or two, but there will be as well state contract bidders, right? So those are folks that we use, for example, I think we use like day automation, right? Because we have tried to streamline our key cards, right? That's just one example of why we might use a state contract.
Very helpful. Thank you, Amanda. Appreciate it. I'm all set, Rob. Thank you so much.
Anyone else have any questions before we go ahead and? Very good. And if we just move the resolution and second, then we'll call the roll.
I move the resolution to accept the bids on the recommendation of Campus Construction and Tetra Tech, as well as following the lowest responsive and responsible bidder.
Second.
Thank you, Sean. Thank you, Moira. And without further ado, Tricia, please call the roll.
Bob Ainsley,
Yes.
Sean Eversley Bradwell,
Yes.
Eldred Harris,
Yes.
Moira Lang,
Yes.
Chris Malcolm.
Yes.
Excellent. Thank you, Chris, Moira, Sean, Eldred, for stepping up on this Thursday. And looking at 5:12, we're trying to have the record for the shortest board meeting ever, but probably we have done this before. But appreciate the insight, and that's good for the record, and it's good, frankly, good for us to know what's going on. And so thank you, Maura, and we'll let everybody go because I'll close this meeting. So thanks, Dr. Brown, Sean, everyone, Lily, Mary, Dan, everybody. Tricia.
Good night, folks.
Thank you. Thank you.